Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faithful Acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from Merman's Revenge, it is the Cajun hot sauce. So we had a Cajun style hot sauce packed with garlic. No argument for me here on that, for sure. Why don't shrimp ever share their hot sauce? Because they're a little shellfish. Okay, ingredients, we have distilled vinegar, cayenne pepper mash, which is cayenne peppers and salt. We have garlic, water, citric acid, lemon juice from concentrate, granulated garlic, lemon peel powder, and xanthan gum. So you can see here is some of the garlic here, and I'm not entirely clear on if that garlic is actually garlic. And we'll get into that here in a bit. But so what's interesting also is a Cajun sauce that does not have a restrictor cap. I did not take this off. It didn't come with one. In fact, it's held together a little bit better, but it was somewhat separated despite having xanthan gum when I initially opened it a bit ago prior to this video, obviously. So we can see here, it's a lot of particulates in there. It is the more or less correct color for a Cajun style sauce, which would be similar to the color of a Louisiana style cayenne sauce. And the main difference between those two, as far as I'm concerned, Louisiana style is the cayenne, salt, vinegar, maybe water in some of them, and maybe xanthan gum, but that's about it. Where Cajun style differs is the additives. In this case, garlic, but garlic, lemon, anything that's not those ingredients I mentioned, any additions to that would constitute more of a Cajun style sauce than a Louisiana style cayenne sauce in my consideration. But visually it's fine. Like there's no issues here with appearance. Let's get on into the tasting. There's a lot of grit to this. From the pepper bits to the garlic. It is not a very refined sauce. This is actually fairly abrasive. So it's one of the more, and you know, like Louisiana style cayenne sauces can go kind of one or two ways. You're always going to have a vinegar hit, but like where Crystal, where it's much more of an abrasive forward versus something like Red Devil and some of the other more commercial ones where it's smoothed out a little bit. This one is more towards that sort of Crystal thing where it's very, very, very in your face. It is very, very forward as far as vinegar. Like it's abrasive as far as that goes. But the garlic in there as well is that sort of abrasive garlic that you get from concentrates like jarlic, or in this case it is garlic. It's not quite clear which garlic it is. I'm guessing it's probably jarlic. I don't know that, but it doesn't read to me like fresh garlic. as well as having granulated garlic on top of it. So you have two forms of somewhat concentrated garlic. There's not really a way of getting around that sort of abrasive garlic flavor. And if I'm not hugely a fan of that, so for me, like the entire sauce just generally reads as unrefined, both in terms of flavor, but especially in texture with all the particulates and so on in there. The flavor is not, like, I wouldn't call it bad. You can kind of see some remnant stuck on the spoon. I wouldn't call it bad by any means. It just is not... I'm not really a fan of Cajun style sauces because I don't really want garlic most of the time. I just want the cayenne and the other stuff. But I do like to try these because every once in a while there'll be one that comes along in the Cajun style that I think is quite good. And I obviously like to try new stuff quite a lot. But the heat is right in line as well with that style of sauce in that there is precious little to none. Like, there's not a lot of heat to be found here at all. All right, so we're gonna have it on some mac and cheese. We've seen this one before. This is the Devour White Cheddar with bacon. And let's actually, you know what? Why don't we? This one has a lot more bacon than usual as well. You can see there's quite a bit in there. I feel like this needs a restrictor cap, but I think it probably doesn't because of all the particles that are in there. So you just have to be a little cautious. That garlic is honestly quite rough. I wish that were not the case, I think, a little bit there. I don't mind the very abrasively vinegar-forward sauce. Like I said, Crystal's been a big name for a really long time. That part I don't mind. But garlic is, I guess, I mean, I like garlic, but I don't love it in all forms. But I mean, it does the job here. It's cutting through the fairly rich notes here. This particular one has a heavy white cheddar sauce. And of course with the bacon, it's just a very, very rich version of mac and cheese. It's not one that I can actually eat by itself. It's too much for me. I would actually say that about mac and cheese in general. So it is adding a nice bit of astringency to cut through some of that, which is what it's supposed to do. But it is dropping a lot of garlic flavor onto here that I just don't really love. I had another sauce from them as well. I'm trying to remember which one it was now. That I honestly wasn't overly fond of that either. It says distributed by Glen Food Company. So I guess it's probably made by a co-packer or something somewhere, I'm assuming. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. Not everybody's going to have the capacity to scale up a kitchen to be inspected and produce volume. But I imagine if you wind up using a co-packer, there does wind up being some cost considerations, and the end result of this, I don't know, is necessarily what they started with. But the end result's what I have. There's quite a pungent garlic aroma as well. I'm just not so fond of that. This is actually, I don't eat a lot of Cajun sauces. And this sauce is a good example of why. Because a lot of those will move to garlic. And certainly garlic is a staple for Cajun flavors. No question. But to me, in a hot sauce, it just seems like you can very easily overdo it with garlic. And for me, I think this one, that's kind of where it's falling. I mean, I haven't used quite half of it. I'm pretty close to halfway through this. I probably will finish this out. It's not a flavor combination I find especially appealing, but like in that case, it was tolerable. I guess if you really like very, very garlic forward hot sauces, well, this Cajun sauce is there's no real heat here particularly, but if you like this form of sauce to be more garlic forward than not, this could be a very viable thing, I think, to look at. For me, it is not hitting the taste bud notes I would normally want or hope for in this style of sauce. So I gotta say, at the end of the day, this is just not an entry I'm honestly overly fond of. And so it definitely is not one that I find overly resonant with my palate, I guess, is the way that I'm going to leave it. So, but there it is, the Merman's Revenge Cajun Hot Sauce. Number 4. In peace, to serve the flame.